So I'm standing here a few minutes away from Amritsar at the Wagah border, but I'm not on the Indian side. Somehow, and against the advice of almost everyone I know, I ended up on the other side. This is what happened.
Yeah.
This is what my first breakfast in Pakistan looks like. After landing in the night in Lahore, I slept, and then in the morning I got up to eat breakfast at my hotel. I normally don't eat breakfast, but Pakistani breakfasts are more like lunches, with dishes like karai and kofta. Although sometimes it can be a bit oily. Although honestly, I'll gladly take some karai and naan over almost any other regular Western breakfast dish. Before the British arrived, most of northern India, as well as Pakistan, Bangladesh, and parts of Afghanistan, were ruled by Mughal emperors. As with many rulers of powerful empires, they like to build monuments after themselves, and here in Lahore stands many Mughal monuments, such as this one. The construction for this tomb was started upon his death in 1627 by his son and successor, Shah Jahan. That's the same Shah Jahan who commissioned the Taj Mahal, and which was finished 10 years later. Jahangir was a patron of the arts, and like his father Akbar, was known for his religious tolerance. So we just made it to Jahangir's tomb. This is like, I think at least my third Mughal Empire's tomb. I've seen Babur's and Humayun's, probably somebody else's, but it's the first time we're in Pakistan doing it, so there's that. Now, if somehow you have an Indian passport and you find yourself in Pakistan, well, then you can get the local price. Maybe one day in the future. I don't know how this exists, but, maybe they're trying to future-proof it. So there's one thing you'll notice, especially with Mughal-era gardens, is that there's quite a step between, like, the place where you're supposed to walk and the place where you're supposed to picnic, or the grass. And one guy said that it's probably because the elephants would be on the grass, and the height difference would make it easier to get up on the elephants. I don't know how much that's true. So, just coming out of the tomb of Jahangir, we're walking into a market. Yeah, this definitely, I guess most people sort of see me as a local, but sometimes people can kind of tell that I'm not. You smile for me. It's alright.
It's okay.
Thank you. So this is the tomb of Nur Jahan and her daughter, Ladli Begum. She was the wife of Jahangir and is considered by some historians to be the real power behind the throne of the Mughal Empire, as Jahangir often had addictions to opium and alcohol, and a variety of substances. Just look for me here, please. So at this point, I met up with the rest of my group and we head out to explore Lahore for a little bit. The streets of Lahore are very much like the streets of most other South Asian cities. You can smell spices, sometimes pollution, sometimes burning trash. However, I found walking around in Lahore quite pleasant compared to Delhi or Mumbai. Pakistanis are very friendly and hospitable, and unlike in some places, you don't feel like you're being harassed all the time.
Like a concert here.
And we're trying out clothes.
Our name after the nicknames here is three-story code. And you can see the multicultural, the Hindu mythology, Buddhism, Christian, everything. He's just terrifying the Indian border. You see this one?
The area that we're about to enter belongs to the old city of Lahore. The walls which you're about to see and much of the structures around us were built during the reign of Akbar and Jahangir. Of course, later additions by the Sikhs and a little bit by the British are also visible. But Lahore is a renowned city in South Asian history, the old city of Lahore specifically, for its beauty and its charm. And when you see this place, you can clearly see why. The architecture around, most of it is Mughal architecture at its finest.
I got you.
The incredible paintings, the marble, the Hindu and Islamic architecture and art is second to none.
The Mughal dynasty is finished. Okay, let's see the museum here, please.
Badshai Mosque was built a bit later than the walled city of Lahore, as it was constructed by Aurangzeb between 1671 and 1673 as a monument to the victory of his forces against Shivaji and the Maratha Empire. Even its location is not an accident. Later on, in 1799, when Ranjit Singh took over the city, and when much of this area was under the control of the Sikh Empire, he also built a few monuments, and his son built a samida to him. Soon after, about 50 years later, the British would have it in 1849, and then later virtually the whole Indian subcontinent after the 1857 rebellion. The road to the Wagah Border and to Amritsar is really only about 10 minutes from Lahore. It's not difficult to get there at all. And this is really surreal. I think I knew this fact before I got there, but I didn't really understand it and digest it. Like, as soon as you leave Lahore, you're there at the Wagah Border. It's not much wait time at all. The ceremony was developed by the armies in 1959 as both a symbol of rivalry and of brotherhood. It involves aggressive dance-like movements, which depicts a face-off, and at the end of the day leads to the lowering of the flag and the closing of the border at sunset.
Alright guys, we are in Pakistan, in Lahore, and we just got beers from Murray Brewery. It's called Strong Beer, some Pakistani beer, and we're gonna cheers. Yeah, for another almost 2 weeks.
It's a bit ironic that for a country where alcohol is mostly not allowed, albeit with some exceptions, they make surprisingly decent alcohol. The only licensed alcohol company in the country is called Murray Brewery, which was established by the British in 1860. In fact, Murray Brewery is one of the oldest publicly traded companies of South Asia and the oldest continuing enterprise in Pakistan, and was created in order to satisfy the demand for beer by the British Army. Today, Murray alcohol is mainly sold in Pakistan, but is also in India, Bangladesh, and the US.
There was this rumor that the real father is like a basketball player from Slovenia.
Mr. Chips restaurant.
They are ready. Pre-order.
Great.
Sharing, please.
Fantastic.
The modernist Islamabad mosque, Faisal Mosque, or Faisal Masjid, was given to Pakistan as a gift of friendship by the Saudi King Faisal in 1976 and completed in 1986. At the time, it was the largest mosque in the world and is now the 6th largest in the world. Without a typical dome like other mosques, its design is like a Bedouin tent. It can hold over 10,000 worshippers inside.
I just don't like the lines, you know, and the lack of curves. I don't know. Just very mathematical and yeah.
So you may be seeing this a lot on this tour, but much like in other parts of South Asia, if you're white, even if you're Chinese or East Asian looking, you will be very popular. You will be a point of intrigue, let's just say that. If you look like me, you'll probably be ignored because people will think you're local. But, you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But it's kind of funny because on this tour, everyone seemed to think I was the tour guide.
Wow. Do not feed monkeys. Looks like that's observed well here. Not. Well, that's kind of bullshit. They can get pictures where we can't.
No, I know.
Yeah.
In our next video, we will be heading up north. I hope that you found this interesting, and I hope that you will like and subscribe. Thank you for joining me, and enjoy the comment section.